NFL fans, welcome back to another episode of the J All Day Sports Show. Today, we're going to talk about Week 8. We're going to go through all the games, early predictions for each and every one of the games in Week 8. We have a full slate of games, 16 games. Let's get into it. We have a ton of really exciting games for Week 8. We're just a little less than being halfway through this 2024-2025 NFL season. I'm really excited about these games. Let's kick it off. Minnesota Vikings on the road taking on the Rams. The Rams are still really banged up. Offensive line-wise, receiver-wise, the Vikings played a very close, contested game this past week with the Detroit Lions. I love the Minnesota Vikings in this spot to get a road victory. Then we have the Baltimore Ravens on the road taking on the Cleveland Browns. In today's game, Deshaun Watson just tore his Achilles, guys. He's out for the rest of the year. Is Jameis Winston going to get a chance to play for the Browns? We will have to see. But Baltimore Ravens on the road, easy victory. The line's at 10 now. It's probably going to go up over 12 by the end of this week. Atlanta Falcons, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Falcons really let me down this week. We crushed our bets this week. We nailed every single one of our bets except the ones that we had the Atlanta Falcons in, unfortunately. But we killed it otherwise. The Falcons crushed us. They didn't play well this week. 3 turnovers, 9 penalties. That's why you lose football games in the NFL. You turn it over and you're penalized over 5 or 6 times. You're going to lose every game. That's why the Falcons lost. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a big game this week at home versus the Baltimore Ravens. I like the Buccaneers in this spot. I just think they're a better team. And the Falcons, they're starting to show some holes in their team. I like the Buccaneers to get a win at home here. Titans versus the Detroit Lions. The Titans are so bad. They benched Will Levis for Mason Rudolph. He didn't do much better this week, right? So, big blowout loss to the Buffalo Bills. Detroit Lions at home. Jared Goff was nearly perfect again this week. Jared Goff, in my opinion, is the NFL's MVP. He's been so incredibly good this year. He went 22 of 25, led the Detroit Lions to a road victory over the division rival Minnesota Vikings. Absolutely incredible stuff from Amon-Ra St. Brown. The running backs were really good as well. Big win. They get another easy W for sure. The line's already at 12.5. I love the Lions in this spot. Next up, my Philadelphia Eagles. Big blowout win over the Giants. The defense looked a lot better this week, right? I still have concerns with Kellen Moore and his play calling, and the Eagles did go 1 for 13 on 3rd down, which is not going to get it done when you play really good teams. Fortunately for the Eagles, they have a stretch of playing a bunch of booty-cheek teams. The Bengals didn't look great against the Browns this week. They barely won. I like the Eagles in this spot. The Eagles at plus money on the road. I'm taking that bet to the bank. I think the Philadelphia Eagles win this game outright. They're a better overall team, and I think Fred Johnson, the left tackle who's taken over from Alada, will play a little bit better. I like the Eagles to win on the road here. Green Bay Packers versus the Jaguars. Both teams had big wins. Packers over the Texans, Jaguars over the Patriots, but I do like Drake May. He looks pretty good in my opinion. But the Jaguars are going to lose this game. They have no chance of beating the Packers, who did a really, really good job limiting C.J. Stroud. He didn't even throw for 100 yards in that game. Very impressive. The way you beat the Packers is by running the ball against them, and Travis Etienne is probably not going to play for the Jaguars. So in my opinion, they have no chance. The Packers win this game easily. Next up, we have the New York Jets and the New England Patriots, guys. This is going to be a fun division game, but the Jets easily get the win. The Patriots just aren't very good right now at all whatsoever. There's one game that's not on this slate, guys, which is a little weird. It didn't come up on DraftKings when I was looking at it. The odds aren't in yet for the Chicago Bears on the road taking on the Commanders. I like the Commanders in this spot. It's going to be a close game. Two teams, rookie quarterbacks, kind of a young core of offensive weapons. I love the Commanders to get a close victory in that game. Then we move on to the Colts versus the Texans. The Colts are not very good. They barely beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins were actually up 10-0 in this game, right? It was a very, very, very close game. I had the Miami Dolphins in a small little pick, right? They ended up losing, but they were out to an early lead because this Colts team is not very good. I look for the Texans to get a W here. The Texans don't play well on the road, right? So that's where we got to take advantage of teams against the Texans on the road. At home, they're a different animal in my opinion, so I'm going with the Texans to get a win over the Colts. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals versus the Dolphins. I like the Cardinals in this spot, especially with plus money. Is Tua going to play? That's the big question for Week 8. I cannot believe they're even considering bringing him back this early. I think it's pretty despicable in my opinion. Tua is another concussion away from, having serious issues after football. I don't like it at all whatsoever, but it looks like he might play. I'm going with the Cardinals for now, but if Tua plays, I'll probably flip to the Miami Dolphins. You got to keep your eye on that this week, guys. Then we got the Buffalo Bills and the Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks played a very tough game on the road and looked pretty good playing the Atlanta Falcons. I thought they were definitely going to lose this game, but they persevered. The Atlanta Falcons were heavily penalized, man, and did not look very good. And the Seahawks defense, very opportunistic, forcing 3 turnovers. This game's going to be very close, but I like the Buffalo Bills, who started a little slow this week versus the Titans, but really turned it on as the game went forward. This is going to be a very, very close game, and one of my favorite games of the week. I like the Buffalo Bills to get a road victory. I just don't believe in the Seahawks team. DK Metcalf's dealing with an injury from this game. I like the Buffalo Bills. Adding Amari Cooper, he got a touchdown in that first game. Their offense looks so much better with Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, and Amari Cooper. That's a very sound wide receiver core there. Next up, guys, we have the Saints at the Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers at home. The Saints are just reeling right now. They're super hurt, right? Very, very banged up. And I just like the Chargers to win in this spot. I think they're better coached. I think they're better fundamentally, and they're just a healthier overall football team. I like the Chargers in this spot. The Saints are just way too banged up. They lost both receivers last week. Shaheed's done for the year. The offensive line is in shambles. Take the Chargers in this spot. I mean, the line is already at -7, which is crazy. Kansas City Chiefs on the road versus the Raiders. The Raiders are just devastated by injuries, lack of focus. They're just not a very good football team, and the Chiefs are just figuring out ways to win week after week after week. I like the Chiefs in that spot. Now, let's move on to the Carolina Panthers on the road versus the Denver Broncos. The Panthers, in every game they lost this year, have not been able to cover the spread, right? So not only are they losing, they're getting the brakes blown off of them each and every week. The Broncos are very fundamentally sound, especially on defense, right? I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos shut them out or kept them under 7 or 10 points. I like the under in this spot and for the Broncos to win. I think they dominate, they control the trenches, and win a Denver Broncos football game. All right, then we move on to the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. A few years ago, this would be a great game, but the 49ers, their defense especially, Brock Purdy did not look very good in this game. The defense is underachieving in my opinion. The Dallas Cowboys just aren't very good though, so I look for the 49ers to get right at home. They're playing back-to-back home games, no travel for the 49ers. I think they clean it up. They didn't play well this week against the Chiefs at all. I made a ton of Chiefs bets, so I cleaned up. Kobe! Making cash for you guys each and every week. So if you're interested in sports betting, check out my memberships down below. And then the final game of this week, the Giants at the Steelers. The Giants just stink. Their secondary is horrible. I do love myself some Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence, but their secondary is so unbelievably bad, it doesn't matter. And actually, Saquon shredded them on the ground this week for over 170 yards. Pittsburgh Steelers get it done, in my opinion. We'll have to see how Russell Wilson looks in his game this week. They haven't played yet, but he's going to be starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Justin Fields moves to the bench, but I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's my Week 8 predictions, an early look for you guys. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next video. Peace.